Hockey fans, welcome to BoardCheck, Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of professional hockey right here in the South, as we'll talk Atlanta Gladiators, Nashville Predators, and Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little bit before we've done the show. Uh, just I tried, man. I tried really hard, but we had stuff everywhere, and uh, I don't really have an excuse. I should have done the show. But we are here now. We are going to talk some Gladiators a little later and some Canes. But I want to start with the Nashville Predators, who it's been a weird year. It's it's been a weird year. Um, UC Saros has been having a stellar year as he normally does. Stamkos is starting to score. Um, you're the Marcia. So the guys you brought in are starting to click and they're starting to put things together. The unfortunate thing is you're about a quarter of the way into the season. Now you're not out of it in no way. No, I mean, famously the St. Louis Blues were in dead last place on like somewhere in January a couple years ago and won the Stanley Cup that year. So those kind of things happen. Just the thing is they're starting to score goals, but they're only getting about two a game. And these days in the National Hockey League, you need at least three goals to more than most of the time. You need to average about three goals a game. So they just need to find another goal somewhere. They're not getting blown out. They had the big win over Winnipeg a couple Saturdays ago, 4-1. That was a nice looking game. Then Jersey gets them 5-2. Philly gets them in Nashville 3-2. That was an overtime. They followed up with another overtime loss 3-2 to Tampa Bay on Friday, and then this past Saturday they lose that one in overtime 3-2 to Minnesota in Minnesota. Once again, the theme there is not that you're losing 3-2. The theme there is that you're only getting two goals a game. After you scored four against Winnipeg, you followed up with two against Jersey, two against Philly, two against Tampa, two against Minnesota. That's clearly not getting the job done, and it's not because Saros can't keep the opponent down, because he's doing everything he can. One of the issues with this team, we got to be real here. One of the issues with this team, the offense is getting there, and the defense is fine, except when they get in front of Saros. They're not doing a bad job, but they could do a better job of helping defend pucks and shots and plays. I'm not saying just stand in front of them, but make it to where the other team doesn't even get a shot at Saros. He shouldn't have to make 40 saves a game, and that's what it feels like. He's having to stand on his head 40 times. Not any easy saves even. It seems like, I mean, the defensive pairings are fine. I think the forwards are still playing, doing the forecheck and everything. I don't think there's a big. It's not a full blown issue like a lot of people are trying to play it out to be. And most of those people are not Predator fans. Let's be honest. But you have a chance. You have the Canadian track coming up here soon, where tonight they're in Toronto. Tomorrow they're in Montreal, Saturday, and they're in Ottawa before coming back next Tuesday to face Calgary. You can write this. Now Toronto is going to be tough, but Montreal and Ottawa, you should pick up those victories. You should be able to beat them 3-1, 3-2, maybe even 3-0. Toronto, you're going to have to score 4 or 5 goals, because Toronto loves to score, and defense is not always what they do either. But they have goalie issues as usual. So, I mean, you can write this. It's I think that's part of what it is. If you can find another goal a game, and that's I know that's asking a lot. It's hard to score goals, but if you can start averaging 3 a game, and if you can start helping Saros out, you'd be surprised how many more of these games you win over losing because you're just on the cusp of winning these games and losing them in overtime and lose. I mean, when you got overtime, all bets are off because next goal wins, golden goal. Stay away from those as much as possible. But that's what I think's going on with the Predators. Um, and they made a move, and I know a lot of people were upset. And this was Predator fans. Sometimes were upset, and they didn't understand the move, and they thought the move means one thing when I don't see it that way. They moved Scott Wedgwood, the backup goalie, who they signed this offseason to be a quality veteran backup for Staros, and he's played pretty well. They moved him to Colorado for a 6th round pick next year, and Justus uh, Anuman, I think is how you say his name. He is a goalie prospect. He has played like 20 games on the NHL level. He's pretty good. He's definitely a prospect, but where Wedgwood was quality backup for now, you're going to let Justus learn behind UC Saros. And that way, in 4 or 5 years, whatever, when you're ready to turn it over to him when Saros is done, or maybe you're ready to move on from Saros, and it is a business. I don't think they're going to do that, but when you turn it over to this young man, he's a former 3rd round pick. I think he like number 64 overall. Like just it was high 3rd round by Colorado. It was in 2018. So he is I think he's 24. And to learn behind somebody like Saros in this goalie room with the tandem they have, I think this is a great move for the organization. A lot of people thought, oh, we just traded Wedgwood. We've already packed it in for the year. That's not the case at all. They're not packing anything in. Actually, they are actually building not just the immediate future, but the distant future, because you're going to have quality. You didn't really have a goalie prospect in the system, and now you have one. And if they want, they can let him get some time with the Admirals. I doubt we would see him down here in Atlanta. I doubt that move happens. But we could we could see him a little bit of time with the Admirals. But I think he's going to stay up on the upper level for the most part, and he's going to learn under UC Saros. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's an absolutely great thing. Um, but I just told you their upcoming schedule. I think they can win at least 2 out of 3 of those games, depending on when we do the show next week. The Calgary at home. Calgary's playing really emotional right now because of the Goudreau brothers and the all the stuff happening with that. So it's hard to figure out what kind of team the Flames really are right now. They do pretty well, but they're it's hard to really put your finger on what you're going to get out of them. So I think if Nashville plays them tough, they should get that win at home. That will help. Um, and then also, how cool was it that Joseph Newgarden, the Nash or the Tennessee native, I don't think he's from Nashville, but he's close to there, brought his F1 car, or not his F1, his Indy car, and I mean, how cool is that when they bring the Indy car, they do the fun crossovers like that. I thought it was fantastic. Um, and this team hasn't given up. They haven't packed it in. That's like I said, you just basically upgraded more for later than for now. But Justus can still give you quality minutes in between the pipes, and it's not gonna be automatic losses just because this kid's in over Scott Wedgwood. Then Wedgwood gets to play in Colorado. Good for him. Yeah, he's cool journeyman. Not saying we wouldn't see him again down the road. Just saying for now. Um, so let's get into the Canes. Get into the Hurricanes, right? So the Hurricanes have had a little different track. Now they went on a little bit of a skid because they've lost the last three. They've lost the last three in a row. Yeah. Month of November was 9 wins to 6 losses. 9-6. I'll take that. One of those was an overtime loss to Columbus in Columbus. Uh, losing six, let's use the soccer term here, losing 6-0 in Florida to the Panthers. Now, the Panthers are a really good team. They're, predominantly in Stanley Cup hunt all the time. But, Hurricanes, you're in that discussion. You're in that group as well. But 6-0. Ooh, I guess you guys were due a stinker, and you got that one out of the way. I'm glad you got it in late November. But then it kind of trickled in. You hosted Seattle, and you didn't win that one either. But your upcoming schedule, you're going to host Colorado on Thursday. On Saturday, you'll be up in New York to face the Islanders, and then Tuesday you're about to be on a 4-game homestand. It's going to be followed by a 4-game away stand, but it's going to start with San Jose Sharks, who are a team you can beat. You can beat the Islanders. You can beat Colorado because you like to see Scott Wedgwood. I bet you see him in that game. But the biggest thing going on with the Canes right now is the anagram of their nickname, the Canes. Marty Nachos. I had people ask me at the Gladiators game when we were talking about the Hurricanes. They said, "Yeah, and what about this guy? Is he new to the team? I don't recall hearing a lot about him." And I said, Marty Nachos has been on this team for a little while. He is normally he's normally more of the middle tier people. Does a lot of stuff that don't end up on stat sheets. He can still score quite well, but he's usually the super team. He's the pivot point for a lot of people. Like a lot of people will play off of Marty Nachos, and this year he just happens to be on a scoring just burner. I mean, this is crazy. He actually led the 3 stars for November. How crazy is that? He led the 3 stars. It was him. It was it Rantanen? Who were the other two? There it is, Mikko Rantanen and Connor Hellebuyck. And he had better months than all of them. Make sure I get this right. 7 goals, 15 assists, and 22 overall points in 15 games. That's crazy. He's a big part of why there were 9 wins out of those 15 games. Where Mikko Rantanen for Colorado had 11 goals, 8 assists for 19 total points in 14 games. Very impressive. Outside of Marty, that's the next best. And then Connor Hellebuyck, he had 8 wins and 2 shutouts in a month. And he played probably 14 or 15 games. So you got to think he probably went 8-2, 8-3 in the month of November. That's crazy. All right, so as far as the Canes, I gave you guys a big breakdown on where I think the Predators are. Where the Canes are, they're still in a good spot. They're still one of the top teams. They're still battling hard. They're still winning a majority of their games. Where they need help is consistent goalie play. The whole Frederick Anderson situation is just bizarre because this really didn't happen a lot in Toronto. and he gets down here, and I mean, you can't help blood clots, you can't help some of these other things. And I totally get that. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. I don't believe in luck, so I can't call it bad luck. It's just bizarre. I mean, he's still out. I haven't heard if he's been skating or anything like that recently, but we'll just have to play that by ear and figure all that out. Consistent goalie play. They've been getting that for the most part with their main guys now, but just I don't know. That's definitely one thing. Um, the other main thing I would say is sometimes they get caught up in trying to make too many passes. I'll say this about the Gladiators as well. Instead of just sometimes shooting, just sometimes you just need to shoot, you know. And there, you sometimes just let it go. Just shoot. Nate Choff doesn't have that problem, and he's not somebody who will take a shot over passing. No, he will normally pass too. I just feel like they should take a little more chances and just unleash a little more shots. And I believe some of those losses will flip in to wins because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games in the month of December. If this was the Canes cast, they would do the like it, take it. If you don't get, send it right back. But I'm going to say of the 13 games, I think they win at least 8. I think they go 8-5. That's probably about where they're at right now. I would love to see 9 or 10. That'd be great. But I think you are going to see the Canes rifle off, and it might be during a big homestand. But I think they are going to get at least 8 wins, maybe 9, and they're going to be rolling even better because I think Frederick Anderson should hopefully be back soon. But I think he should be back sooner rather than later, and that is just going to help them out. It's like I said, it's just kind of where they are right now. I said just kind of a weird situation to be in, and it's a weird situation. So, I mean, it's such a weird situation that I just don't have a lot of words to say it, and we all know that's usually not a problem for me. So, I think the Canes should keep doing what they're doing, but maybe pass less, shoot more, and get slightly more consistent goalie play. And I think that's team related too. Just like with Saros, it's not that their goalie tandems are playing bad. They could use a little bit of help from the team in front of them sometimes. And you know, I I would much rather be the Canes than the Preds right now. But I think the Preds are at such a lower point than what they think that they're about to steamroll their way up. So I'm not worried about either one of these teams, especially the 1st of December. 1st of February, still in this situation, we'll have a different discussion. But let's get into the Glads. I do want to commend their efforts. They are going to host 4 donation drives during the 24-25 season. They're going to partner with Joseph Storehouse Clothes Closet, Helping Mamas Atlanta, Musk Ministries, and Fully Furnished Ministries. Joseph Storehouse Clothes Closet is a Christian outreach ministry in the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in Lawrenceville. They provide clothing and support within the community. And for the December 27th, 28th, and 29th home games this year, the Gladiators are going to host a coat drive and will also take financial donations that will help Joseph Storehouse Clothes Closet. There are links to all of these on the Gladiators website, AtlantaGladiators.com as well. You got Helping Mamas Atlanta. Obviously, they do that. Um, they provide medical supplies and baby supplies and diapers and things like that for mothers and children that are in need. And for the January 31st, February 1st, and February 2nd home games this year, the Gladiators and Helping Mamas will host a Mama and Baby Drive, and they will accept financial donations as well as supplies. Must Ministries is a grocery bus ministry for the elderly and youth. Reverend Wayne Williams is the one behind that one. Good job, Wayne. They also help their neighbors in need. They do all kinds of stuff like provide clothes and dishes and cleaning supplies and blankets and toys and school supplies and such. The January 11th and 12th games, the home games, the Gladiators, they will have a pajama and underwear drive. Don't get excited. That's not that kind of night. No, it's where they also take financial donations as well. But no, you go to the store, or maybe you already have something that you just don't wear, and a set of pajamas or a pack of underwear, and you say, you know what, this is an unopened pack. Somebody else can use this more than me, and so you bring it. Sometimes they do it where you can toss it on the ice, and sometimes you just donate it into a bin. I'm not sure which one they're going to do this year, but uh, what a cool thing to do. What a cool thing to do to just donate to your fellow man if you can. You know, your fellow humans out there. We're all in this together. And then finally, Fully Furnished Ministries. Is that what the fourth one was? Fully Furnished. Yep. Well, no, you get. Oh, we did Must Ministries, right? Yeah. All right. And then Fully Furnished Ministries. Um, they provide furniture to those in need. They have collaborated with the Gladiators a bunch already, but they're going to do more in the next few months. The April 2nd, 4th, and 6th home games, the Gladiators will host a home bedding and linens drive, and they will also accept donations for the Fully Furnished Ministries. Also want to say that any tickets purchased for any of those games, $5 of your ticket will be donated to the organization associated with that game. I mean, how cool is that? Absolutely, how cool is that? It's, how could it be any better? So let's get into the Gladiators. We were there Friday night, as we have said on both our UGA and Tech shows. The reason why we did not watch that game live and only caught the last of it on the radio was we were at Marvel Night following Thanksgiving. Fantastic night, man. There were just so many really cool Marvel things going on. My favorite were the jerseys. The Deadpool themed jerseys were worn by Savannah, and were pretty cool. But the Wolverine theme that actually were in the colors of the Gladiators was worn by the Gladiators, and I have not seen the team look much better than they did because they played out of their absolute mind. They really did. Played out of their mind. Um, where's that game? There. Well, let's start with the Greenville game. They played Greenville on Wednesday. Um, had it tied up after one, and then Greenville beat them in the shootout. We outshot them 39-29. You had goals from Carson Denemy and Derek. Is it Topaz or Topatage? Derek, I can never get your name right. You got to correct me on these. Um, but we lose that one in the shootout. Just so close. We are so close on this one. But by far the best, the absolute best we have looked this year has to be, if my screen will correct, has to be last Friday night against Savannah on Marble Night. How about 6-3 Gladiators? 6-3. Maybe we should wear the Wolverine jerseys more often. I think we raffled them off, so you can't anymore, or they auctioned them off. But we scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. Where Savannah got 2 in the first and got 1 in the third. By the way, I'm only going to mention the Savannah guy because of this. Their captain, Logan Drevich, got the first goal of the game. And then that was followed by Andrew Jarvis, who, by the way, the person who was the guest color commentator up there with Liam Godimer in the booth with us, I said before the game, I gave him some tips on being on the mic. I thought he did a fantastic job. He didn't need my tips. But I said, I handed him the roster sheet, and I said, who's scoring the first goal? That's what do you mean? I said, well, it's something we like to do up here on Press Row is sometimes we like to all put on our predictions who's going to score the next goal or who's going to score the first goal. And he immediately pointed at Andrew Jarvis, and he said, right there. And I said, normally I like to go off the board like that. And you picked a defenseman, so all right, so I picked a different one as well. But he was right. Andrew Jarvis. How cool is that? And that was 1-1. PJ Fletcher gets one right after that, makes it 2-2. Savannah ties it up 2-2 at that. It was 2-1, then 2-2. And then Randy Hernandez puts in the third and never gave up the lead again. It's 3-2 at that point. And then 21 seconds into the second period, Tyler Drevich making his Gladiators debut. He is a rookie, I believe. Gladiators debut. And remember, I just said Tyler Drevich. That's weird. Wonder if he's related to Logan Drevich. That's his older brother. Tyler Drevich scores a just ridiculous backhand from a knee shot. Right, scores his first goal as a Gladiator, I believe his first ECHL goal right there in front of his brother. It's got to be a proud brother moment. Even though you're now down 4-2, there's got to be a little part of you that just goes, I'm so happy that I was here for that. So that was 4-2. Patrick Marcinkevich makes it 5-2. Savannah scores about halfway through the third, and then the open net. He did have an assist. Yoder's shot gave him the shot up to Eric Neely. We got a 6-2. I mean, how great is that? How great is that? And there's what I'm looking for there. Drew DeRitter, by the way. Sure, he gave up 3 goals, but he was putting on an absolute clinic. And I got to give credit to their goalie as well, because to a lot of people, he's going to sound familiar. Keith Kincaid. Keith Kincaid has played with the New York Rangers and did pretty well. He currently is signed to the Checkers, the Charlotte Checkers, and he's on loan to Savannah. That's why he is down here playing right now, so he can get some more minutes in. But Keith Kincaid is an NHL veteran, and I was excited to get to see him play live. He made some miraculous saves that looked like a spinning starfish, and between him and DeRitter, they put on a show. If you're a young goalie and you're in the Atlanta area, hopefully you catch one of these guys playing, because these two guys are really great at what they do. Now, I'll give it to them too that Hader can really play well as well. The goalie tandem in Atlanta is still one of my favorites, and that's no biasness involved in that. So, where did it go? Let's go back to the schedule. All right. Then they gave us the game Saturday. I didn't get to go back to that one. I wanted to, and Savannah flipped it on us. They win that one 6-3. Your goals were by Eric Neely, Carson Denemy, and Jackson Pearson. Good to get. I think that's all one line, by the way. Good to get all of them back going and on the score sheet. And we had Ethan Hayter was in, who made 29 saves and gave up 5 of the 6 goals. It happens, can't win them all. And if this screen would cooperate with me. Here we go into this month. Yep, we will spend this weekend, this Friday. They will be in Savannah because their arena will be used for BKFC 69, by the way. They will be in Savannah on Friday night. They will be in Greenville on Saturday. And then Sunday, they will be back at home as Greenville comes back for the home and home. So, where are the Gladiators at as of this week? Well, I've seen them play. Seen them play live a handful of times already. Hopefully a handful of times more later this year. Up until recently, there wasn't a lot of continuity on the line. There was some shuffling. Nesbitt was trying to figure out who fit where. Easton Armstrong, I think, is ready to break out. He was not in the lineup the other night. I think he was a healthy scratch just for rest. But starting Friday and into Saturday, even though they only scored 3 goals in, the effort has been the same, but it seems like things are starting to fall into place a little more. And when you have DeRitter and you have Hayter between the pipes, you don't have to worry about goalie. Unlike the other 2 pro teams that I talked about, the ECHL pro team, the Atlanta Gladiators, they actually help their goalie out a little bit more than both the Canes and the Preds. The team plays a little better in front of them, and they don't usually give up soft goals, is what I call them. Ones that could have easily been preventable. They prevent a lot of shots. They will step in front of a lot of shots, so they don't have that issue. But when they get this continuity down, and I think some of this falls on the fans as well, and I get it. A lot of you guys say, well, the team needs to win more for me to show up. Well, I think you showing up more will help them win more. Because when that place is rocking, that team responds no matter what the score is. And they play like men on a mission. So I think part of it falls on us, the fans, that we could be at more games and pack the place out. And I don't care if there's 2 people there, 200, 2,000, 200,000, however many are there, be loud, be raucous, be rowdy. It's Atlanta. We know how to do all those things. And also, they got to find some more goals. Let's be honest. 9 in 2 games is great, but not when it's 6 and 3. The 3 I'm not so concerned about, and then the 9, the 6 I'm definitely not either. But it's just you got to find some more goals. This team is too talented to not be scoring 3 to 4 goals a night. And I think, the Pearson, Denemy, Neal's line, I think that's a great line. That might be my top line, might be my number 2 line, one or the other. I think you're getting real close, Coach Nesbitt. I think you're either real close or you're on it, and they just haven't produced yet. But I like the pairings. I like the defense pairings. And you haven't had a lot of big injuries, and you haven't had a lot of call ups, call downs, send up. So we can't blame that yet. But I like where the Gladiators are at. They're just into the season, have many, many more games to go, and a passionate fan base that wants the team to do well. There are other options around, and yet people come to Atlanta. Sure, people are going to go to those other places too. At some point, I want to go see games at those places just because I've never been. But my first priority is to help tell the Atlanta Gladiators story, and that's part of this show. That's part of why we go to games. It's not just because we like going to games, because we do. Everybody loves going to games. But we want to help tell this story, whatever part we want to play in that. Um, but that's pretty much it. It's not doom and gloom. All these teams are on the up and up. I think, like I said, you're going to see Nashville and you're going to see Atlanta doing some big things very soon, and you're going to see Carolina, who took a small step to the side, not a step back, with a little bit of a skid. I think they're going to jump right back in it. Marty Nachos is still lighting the world on fire. And no joke, he's probably the number 5 or number 6 scorer on this team. He's currently number 1 on the stat sheet, but he is probably the 5th or 6th option on any given other night. But that's going to do it for another great edition of BoardCheck. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Appreciate all you guys tuning in each and every week so we can talk hockey, talk Glads, talk Preds, talk Kane. But until next week, go Kane, go Glads, go Preds, go watch hockey. Deuces, gooses.